Okay. Hi. Good day, everyone. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from anywhere you are around the world. Welcome to WTM section. Welcome to WTM section. I'm actually Amadikwa and from Nigeria, and I'll be introducing us on intro to Python. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, Joy.
Okay. So we'll be introducing us to intro to Python. But before I go straight into what you have, I would like to introduce my colleagues. I'm Amadikwa Joy, and with me we have Chanchal Bansal, a software engineer, and Rasika, and they should introduce themselves. That should be better. So,
Yeah, we introduced that time.
okay. Introduce yourself, please.
We did it already before you came.
Okay.
I guess we can start with it.
Okay. So far so good. Like I said, we have Sancha Bansa and Rasika. They are my colleagues, those that will help me handle this intro to Python very well. But they come into play, let me introduce the class and say a little bit about Python before we enter fully into it. So, welcome to Python. I know most of us will be asking, what is this Python all about? How can I start coding in Python and other things related to it? So I want you to know that Python is actually a straight but sweet language that everybody can easily understand. Hence, you know how to speak the languages of Python. The Python developers are known as Pythonistas, and the inventor of Python, that's Gideon Van Rossum, that's this man here, decided to come up with the language Python because of how people stress in languages. You know, most languages, once you are coding of those languages, you need to understand some basics and other things. Like you need to some people code it with all seriousness. So that is why Gideon had decided to come up with a language that is very powerful without all this seriousness. That he decided to come up with a language that is powerful, fun, and enjoyable, which can also serve as the first language new beings can also venture into. So Gideon decided to design a powerful but easy to learn language called Python programming language. So once again, welcome being a Pythonista. Like I said, Python developers, they are known as Pythonistas. For an icebreaker, now we are going to learn Python. Remember that we are talking about a snake. I'm actually not referring to the normal Python snake that we all know, but I'm talking about the Python language for the programming language that you can use to develop a powerful thing for the world to use. So the computer will seems to judge you, like judge your mistakes somehow harshly, but note that the Python or the computer doesn't really understand what you are saying. So for the computer to really understand what you are trying to say, you need to instruct it based on the language that it will understand. That is judging you because it doesn't understand your own language. So it's we human that we are supposed to code we're supposed to write our code based on the language that the computer will understand. So those part of judges that the computer will give is known as syntax error. So syntax error actually simply means that the Python is actually lost. Maybe you're not coding in the language that or the pattern the computer actually understands. So you need to actually look at your code and see where you are going wrong. Like I say you are learning Python language and Python is not actually learning your language. So we will learn more about syntax error in the long run. So whenever you encounter syntax error, don't be discouraged that you are a bad programmer or something like that. Just notice that the computer is actually lost somewhere. So it doesn't actually understand your language. So you need to write program based on the computer's language. So writing a program in Python code, before you start writing a program in Python code, hence you're not using any online editor because you're going to be making use of online editor in this class. But hence you don't have any online editor, that you're not using the online editor, you want to be coding offline, you will need your text editor, which can be a Visual Studio Code or any other text editor of your choice. It can be your Sublime Text, can be Atom, Notepad++. And then you need to also install your Python code from www.python.org/downloads. So if you don't have it already on your system. So these are the basic things you need for your system to work effectively. So if you do not want to download or install the above, you can simply use an online editor or compiler known as Google Colab or GDB Online, because we are going to be using GDB Online for this our section to fasten the track. And also I want you to note one thing. Python programming language, once you write any code in Python and you want the Python to interpret it or notice it, the computer notices it as a Python language, you need to save the particular file with the .py. That is .py. That's the surface of the file should be .py. Like if you are coding in PHP, you save your code. Let's just say write a code to say for greeting, to say hello Joy, hello Rasika. You write it and save the name with hello world. You normally use hello world. So you set the name with hello world. Hence it's in PHP. You say hello world.php. You get it? If it's sum of two numbers, you save it with sum of two num.php. But in Python, you save it with hello world.py. So you go with the surface.py. So now let's look at some elements of Python, like the normal English language that we all know. For you to speak English very well, you need to know the vocabularies, the sentence structure, and the story structure. Here in programming, the vocabularies of the words is firstly your variable and your reserved words. The sentence structure is known as the varied syntax pattern, and the story structure is known as the constructing a program for a purpose. Can you still hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are going to look into these things, your variable and the reserved words, your varied syntax pattern, that's the sentence structure, and the story structure, which is constructing a program for a purpose, like writing a hello world for greeting. So note one thing, that in your programming or in your code, it must serve at least a particular purpose. That your program must serve at least a particular purpose. That's when we saw that you were written actually a code. Your purpose might be a code to check the number of people that attended an event. Do you get it? So that is actually a program to solve that particular task. Instead of you having to count the number of people that attended an event, with that particular code, you can get the actual number of people that attended an event. So that is why I say let your code have a purpose or the reason why you wrote that code. So let's look at expressions. In Python programming language, there's what we call reserved words. These are words that are set out for a specific usage on Python programming language. So we should better use it the way Python expects you to use it. On no account should you use a reserved word as a variable name. A reserved word, like let's just say, for instance, your name is Joy, like my name is Joy. If I'm walking on the way and somebody shouts Joy, I will actually look maybe sideways to see where that particular call is coming from. So that particular name, Joy, is being reserved for me, like kind of reserved that once I hear that particular name, I should respond to it. That once I hear that particular, that this person is actually calling me. So that's what is applicable to reserved words. The reserved words are those words that are actually made for the computer, for that particular programming language. They are there for a particular purpose. Do you get it? So on no account should you use a reserved word for anything. Let's just say if you use if is actually a conditional statement to check if something is true. So you cannot use if for your variable name. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot use if for your function name of your functions or your method. So if cannot be used for those purposes. It's actually a function on its own that does a particular thing. So let's look at the sentences and line. We have here I wrote num equal to 3, which is actually an assignment statement. How is it an assignment statement? I'm trying to assign the value 3 to num. Do you get it? So if once I assign this value 3 to num, if you open this particular variable num, you will see 3 inside it. So let's check the second line, which is num equal to num plus 4. This one is known as an assignment with expression. How? Num particular which contains the 3 we assign on top plus another constant of value 4. So we are trying to perform some arithmetic operation or arithmetic expression here. Here we say num plus 4 equal to that is being assigned to another variable called num. Note this is num which has a value 3, and we try to reuse the num here. And now say 3 plus 4 will be 7, and we assign it to this place. Once we go to print num, it's going to output the content of this one, but this is the last expression that we did in this our code. This one pick the value assigned to it, which is 3, and add 4 to it, which and now print the output. And this one now, the print num is known as a print function. The print has been declared or defined. This one now, this actually in Python is a function keyword. You use it to output or print out an output of a particular thing. So it's known as print function. We might go more details into it when we enter deep into the language. So that the above expression comprises of the following. Like I stated, it has the variable which is num. So num is a variable. The 3 and 4 is a constant. We know that pi equals to 3 points. So fractions to it is actually a constant in the sense that the value doesn't change. So now we have 3 plus 4 is a constant, but it's also a value that we actually assigned to inside the variable num. Equal to or plus sign is an operator because we use it to perform an operation on those values and the variable. You can't assign a value inside the variable without the presence of an operator. So the equal sign there is what enables you to assign a value into a variable. In our normal mathematics or arithmetic stuff, we say 1 plus 1 equal to 2. That's how we normally do that, which move from the left to the right. But in programming, we move from the right to the left. We assign the values that is on the right hand side to the variable that is on the left hand side. That's what I'm trying to say in essence. So note in Python, you don't necessarily need to type in the whole of your work in a command line. In fact, it is very ideal to write a program in a script. So, and I try to say that scripts are stored set of instructions in text files that you can handle over a Python to run them. That's once you write a program in your script, you can actually run it in the Python executor or interpreter to execute that particular file. So you don't necessarily need to write your code in your command line interface. In command line interface, it executes for you to enter this next line or have executed the other line. If by adventure there is an error in that line, you cannot enter the next line to write your code. That's what this place is trying to say. So comments. Actually, most of us will be like, what am I going to make use of this comment in this? What am I even using comments for? So comments actually is one vital important feature that we need in our program. A comment is just a piece of text to let someone know what you have done in a program or what is being done in a block of code. Note is actually a piece of text that actually tells you, or maybe after writing your code this year, in the next 5 years, you or another programmer in your company might come up to look up to that your code and see what you have already done. So with the use of or the presence of comments, the person can easily explain any block of code or any line of code what is doing or the action is actually executing. That's what comments actually does. It's helpful, like it's very, very helpful. And also another way we normally use comments in our code is maybe after writing some lines of code and we discover that no, we don't really need these lines of code. Most times maybe we need that line of code later on in the future. We use comment to comment it out just to make it to not to execute that particular any code that you comment. Your compiler or your interpreter is not going to execute that line. It sees it as maybe this code is not actually existing. This particular thing is just a comment, so it's not an executable code. So in comment, you have a single line comment and you have a multiple line comment. So a single line comment, we use the hash to comment a single line comment. Like the way we try to print none and now use the hash sign in front of it. This is actually commenting this particular line that is actually a single line comment. Then you have a multiple line comment. To comment a paragraph, we use triple double quotes or single quotes instead of commenting each line with your hash. Do you get it? So this is what we're trying to say here. You use a triple single quote, so double quotes to comment it. They're trying to tell you that Intro to Python by WTM Network is actually, we comment this line. If this thing happens to be in your code, it will not execute because it's in a comment. Don't worry, we'll try it out on the wrong one when we are coding, when we are doing the practical section. So let's look at interactive and the script. The interactive here, you type directly to your Python, the Python CLI. It executes, like I said earlier, your interactive interface, it executes a line after the other. Like you enter num equal to 3, you execute that line, then you now enter, now say num equal to num plus 4. You execute the line. Let's just say, for instance, you say num space num plus. It might try and it should tell you, try a trace back, telling that this particular line of code have an error. So because of that, you won't start the next line until you edit that particular line of code. But if you write it in a script, you can write the whole of your code. But during your execution time, that's when maybe you have an error. It will not tell you that there's an error in this particular line of statements. Then you now have to edit it. With that, one of the advantages of the script to interactive is with your script, you can be able to revisit that your code over and over time. But interactive, once you write that particular code, you can't save that particular code. You've lost it. Once you close your command line, you've lost the code. But in your script, you can use that code, edit it, do anything you want to do on that particular script, anytime you want and any day you want it. So that's why it's advisable to write your code on the script that interactive nature. Do you get it? Hence, you want that code back, better one. So, like I mentioned of constant area. So, constants are fixed value, such as numbers, letters, and strings, because their value doesn't change. Nearly constants are as you expected it. Like let's say num equal to 3. 3 is a remaining constant. 3 doesn't change actually, no matter where you are. It doesn't change. And the string constant also the same way. You put a string inside the quote. Note, a number can be a string constant actually. Hence, they are being enclosed inside either a single quote or a double quote. They are being called constant. Like they are called constant because they don't change. Like we have print 345, the output will be 345, no changes. Print Amadikwa Joy, the output will be Amadikwa Joy. Print Amadikwa Joy. Note, the first one is in single quote, and the second one is in double quotes. So those are the things you're trying to say. Now let's look at the reserved word, like I mentioned earlier. The reserved words are those words that means a special thing to Python programming language. Any language, every language has its own reserved words. That is, those words are very peculiar to that particular language. So you cannot, on no account should you use your reserved words as a variable name or identifier, or even as your function name. On no account should you use the reserved words. Hence, that particular word has been declared or assigned to Python to execute a particular task. You shouldn't use those words for anything. So some of the examples of Python reserved words are as follows. We have the false, we have the non, we have the true, we have and, as, assert, we have break, we have non-local, we have with, we have with. So you can also go online and look out for some reserved words that you can lay your hands on. At least that will help to fasten your track on it. So these words are special to Python, like I said earlier. That means don't use these words to name functions. I'm repeating it again because once you do, it will throw a trace back to you. Like, let's assume you're a professional developer now. You have such trace back. No, it doesn't look for your profession. So that's why you need to take note of these little things, because those things matters a lot in your code. It can even even break down your sites, your company's website. So these ones are very unique to Python programming language. They are peculiar to it, so don't misuse it. So we have variable names. Variable names are places you ask the Python to allocate a bit of memory and stick something to it. Let's just say in your room you have milk. Your milk container. The container itself is a variable. Okay, so you can give it a name as milk container. Why is it a variable? Because it stores your milk. The milk inside the container is known as the values. Why the milk container itself is your variable. So if you want to maybe send your child or your kid or your herself to get you something or get you a milk, you'd be like, please go and get me that milk container. Maybe inside the milk container, bring 2 spoons of milk. So let's assume that your herself is your computer. It's trying to execute that particular instruction you gave to it by going to get the milk container, which is the variable, and getting the 3 cups of milk, 3 spoons of milk from the container, which is actually the variable inside that particular variable. So you can change the content of your variable on the return statement. That is why it's a variable, because the contents of the variables continue changes. Hence, you try to execute or alter the values inside. It's unlike your constant that is unchangeable. You can't change it no matter. So you're trying to say Python find in this code you have num equal to 20. You're trying to say Python find a spare piece of memory somewhere and give it a label of num and put 20 in it and remember that for me. If maybe I declare this particular variable on top of my code, I can come later on, maybe at the bottom, and make use of that. I will call num plus 10. It will have put 30 for me because I've actually declared this variable somewhere on top. This is where we try something like, let's say, num equal to 20, num equal to 39, and I decide to attribute this thing. I said num equal to 20, and I said num equal to 39. The output of this thing will be 39 because the last value we assigned is actually 39. So let's move on. I'm already running behind time. So there are some rules guiding your variable names. Your variable name must start with an underscore or a letter. It must consist of letters, number, and underscore, and is case sensitive. white spaces are not allowed in your variable. On no account should you start your variable name with a numeric value. This is a good way of naming your variable where we have name food num 34 underscore num. The bad way is 23 joy hyphen joy or joy.34 or joy space n. This is a bad way of naming your variable. Then this way you have different because Python is case sensitive. So because of that, once you name your variable using lowercase, a camel case, any pattern you want to use it, just be consistent with it. Okay. If you name your variable using all letter lowercase and you later on call capitalizing your first letter, this is actually a different variable name from this one. So this one is also a different variable name from this one. So just be consistent with the way you name your variable. If you want to start with all lowercase, just continue it. If you want to start all capital case, just continue that way. So just be conscious of how you name your variable. Now let's look at program steps and program flow. Just like program instructions, installation instructions and recipe follows. There are some programs that you need to write in sequential order. That's it flows like a water flow, like from top to bottom, without considering any branches or anything. Do you get it? So it moves from top to bottom. It moves straight forward, like a straight line, no branches. So some steps are conditional. There are some period where you want to check some conditions on your code that they may, if this condition is met, then you should skip this particular thing and execute that thing. But if this particular condition is not met, execute this other block of code. This is what we meant by some steps being conditional. Sometimes a step or a group of steps can be repeated. So most times, let's just say you want to fetch water, you want to fill your gallon of water. You carry your jerry can, you go to the tap, you fetch the first water and come to the jerry can and pour it. And you check the jerry can, maybe it's not up to the brim of it. You now go and fetch the second one and pour, third one till it gets to that particular stage that you want it to reach. You stop. So that is what we call repetition. That's iteration. You keep repeating that particular process until the particular condition or a particular thing is being met. So sometimes you start a set of steps. Like I stop at the repetition. So there are some periods where you want a particular instruction to continue repeating until a particular condition is met. So sometimes we start a set of steps to be used over and over again on our code. That is known as a function. You can actually use your site to write your code and keep it that you may call it later on your code, maybe when you will need it. So that one is known as a function. So sequential steps, like what I said earlier, goes like a straight line. It doesn't branch anywhere unless it makes an error or a traceback. That's where your code will cut. But hence there is no traceback or anything that will stop it. It moves straight until the end line of your code. Now let's look at, like I said, we are going to be making use of GB online GB. Let's look at online GB and try a sequential code. And that will be where I'll be stopping then. The next person will take over from conditional steps. So if you have, just open your online GB account. If you can send online, can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
Hello?
No, we cannot see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. No.
Okay, can you see my screen? I shared onlinegdb.com. Can you see it now?
No, Joy, we cannot.
Okay. Why is it not showing? Okay, let me share it again. So I'm sharing online GDP. Can you see it?
No, Joy, we cannot.
No.
Uh, I don't know actually
Yeah.
know why it's not
Can't.
showing, but okay. Anyways, let me not share the screen now. Maybe when the person that will be handling the conditional steps should share the screen and continue the practical aspect of it. So I'll be calling on the next person, Masika, to continue from where I start on conditional steps on Python. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Can take over.
Chanchal, you're taking over? Chanchal? I guess Chanchal's screen has.
Is there any question? Anyways, drop the question on the comment section while Rasika.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen.
If after the session we share slide, you'll be getting the slide maybe at the group chat or anywhere. I'll share the link so you can easily access the slide.
So can you all see my screen right now? Okay. So we start with conditional steps. The conditional execution is more like adding intelligence to your code. It's like a decision-based step where you need to make a decision for your program. Say if you want a number which is greater than 3 to be only printed. So that is like a conditional step. There you get an if statement. Chanchal, do you want to continue or shall I continue because we were
Yeah.
supposed to?
I can continue here because
Okay,
my
okay.
connection was lost. So yeah. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Joy and Jessica. So Jessica, can you please turn off your share? Yeah.
yeah.
Let me share my screen. So yeah, conditional steps is more like adding more intelligence to your code. It is like it gives a power to your code for understanding that is it true or not. So it is like more choose one or two path where to go, whether straight, left, right, or backward. So thereby making your choices, we use conditional statements. So we have many conditional statements. So here is a conditional statement if. So we use if for if is a reserved word, we can't use it as a variable. So if it tells us that we are going to instruct it perform some tasks based on some conditions to check out the following code, and we would like to check it from a code. Open it your online GDP. So I have here. So I write the code. I initialize a variable x and I take the if statement. If x is less than 5, then it will print WTN, and if X is greater than 10, then it will print workshop. And the WTN conference is on 11 June. It will print always. So let's run this program. Here we go. So here I have taken 20, which is greater than 10, which is greater than 10. So it will print workshop, and WTN conference is on 11th of June. So how it is works. Here we see the explanation of this code. The code in the given code, we use the if statement for a condition. I assign a variable x, which is equals to 20, and it will ask that whether the x is less than 5 or greater than 5. So our value is greater than 5, so it will not print it. It will goes to another statement. Then after that it will print, because we take the 20, which is greater than 10, so it will print the workshop, and we have take the another statement that WTN conference is on 11th of June, so it will print that statement always. Here is a note for all of you that if statement ends with column, then have an indented block of statement. As Python has indentation error, if you will not indentate it correctly, then it will give error. So basically, if statement says that if the condition is true, do this, but if not, then false. So if it's false, then jump out from the statement block to the next statement. So here we go. Yeah. There are many more conditional statements like else if, or we can say elif and else. So the elif and else are the multi-way conditional steps, which is use a keyword elif, the combination of else if, as I told you. Then this conditional step go through the code in search of any condition that turns out true. Once it meets such condition, that it will execute it and leave the conditional block. So in if statement, it happens that if a statement is false, then it will turn out from the jump out from the that statement. So in else, if it meets a condition true, then it will execute it and leave the conditional block. So here when we have one more code for the else statement. So we'll just open your GDP. I have here. So yeah, here I have initialized a variable x and I have taken it as 2. So if x is less than 2, then it will print WTN, and if x is less than 10, then it will print WTN conference. And welcome to the WTN conference. So if I run it, yeah. So as I have told, I have taken x is equals to 2, which is not less than 2, so it will not execute it. If it is less than 10, so it will execute it. Or if is we have taken, and this statement will always print out. So which is less than 10 or not less than 2, it will print welcome to WTN conference and out of if statement block. Here is the explanation of this code. So it is equals to 2, as I told you. The first condition, if x is less than 2, it will not execute because x is not less than 2. The second condition is if x is less than 10, will execute because x is actually less than 10. So it will output WTN conference. So it won't check that the last condition for else, because it made a true condition already. So it will jump out from the if elif conditional statement to execute the statement, and it also print out of if statement block. So here we go. There are some rules for the conditional steps. So once the block of the code will run, then it will trigger. once it is triggered, then it will meet with the whole if statement. And if a block is true, then it runs it and exits the whole if block immediately. But there are same we may not want to include else or if statement, because in such scenario, if elif block are false, Python will jump out from the whole if elif statement to execute the next statement after it. So here is that, and we have one more exercise. So here I introduce you all to a function, input function. So input function takes basically a input from the user. So we can use it in this. Here I take x variable. It will take the input from as an integer. Because if we did not take the integer, so it will print out the string. So if x is less than 5, then it will print the Romantic network. And elif, if x is greater than or equals to 5, then it will print WTN conference. Else, welcome to WTN global conference. So let's run it. It will ask us to give an input. So if I give an input 5 and enter, then it will print WTN conference because x is equals to 5. So here rerun it and take it. Yeah. So if I give input 2, then it will print WTN because x is less than 5. So how it is works? Here is the explanation. From the exercise, we learned that by the use of input function, x variable will ask the user to give an input by using int data type, because if we not use it, it will take as a string. So in this program, else statement won't work, because in this, if x is greater than or equals to 5, then it will also print WTN conference, and if x is less than 5, then it will print WTN. So it will not print runs the else statement. So that's all. You guys practice with these, and there are many more to us, and we have one more fun task. We have some fun task for you. So do interact with this. So I will invite Rasika for you to give the fun tasks. So Rasika,
Uh,
over to you.
Thank you, Chanchal. Chanchal, can you just keep sharing your screen, because I would need
Yeah,
to
sure.
see the answers also of
Yeah.
this. Yeah. So, can you just go to the next slide? Yeah. So we don't end here. We have a little quiz sort of thing for y'all. So can you just skip it? Get to the next one. Chanchal. Yeah. So say we have statement x is equals to a plus 5 minus b. So now what are a and b over here? Can anyone tell me?
Guys, please write your answers in the chat box.
Yeah, you're right, Atika. They are operands because
Excuse me, Rasika, can you put it on that presentation mode, because the answer is showing by the side.
okay. So okay, the answer is shown. Okay, I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Sanjay, please stop sharing. I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this is cool. Like,
yeah, I understood. It's taking a little time to. Load. So yeah, you all were right. These are operands because 5 is an operator and A and B can be changed. So that's why. 5 is not an operator. I'm sorry. Plus and minus are the operators. 5 is also an operand. So we move on. What is the output of the following code? So we have P, Q, R as 10, 20 and 30 and we need to print it. So what is the answer? Can anyone tell me? Did you all answer? I cannot see the screen. This is C. Some say B. Okay, no more answers. 10, 20, 30. Okay, so now I shall reveal the answer. So the answer is B, which is 10, 20, 30. Now it won't give you an invalid syntax because this is allowed in Python. You can assign the constants to the variables like this along with the commas. I hope that clears your doubt. Now, which is not a legal variable name? So Amadikwa explained you all how to name the variables. I hope this should not be a problem. Very straightforward one. So the answer to this will be A. I don't know how many of you all answered it because I cannot see that screen. But it is because we cannot have a hyphen between the variable name. We can have a capital letter. We can have underscores. If you all didn't get it right, I think you all should once go back and check the rules. That will be very helpful while starting program. Now this is a very easy one. How do you create a variable with the numeric value 5? So if anyone can answer this. So here the answer is A, x is equal to 5. The next two statements B and C are not numeric values. They are string literals or character literals. The double quotes signify string or character and the single quote signifies only character. And none of them are right. So A is the correct answer over here. What is the output of the following code? Print type of type 5. Now type is which tells you what type is the variable, if it is string type or it is a double type or it is an integer type. So if I give say a type and then I give a number in it, it will tell me if it is of type int. If anyone can guess this, because we haven't covered this, I know. If just a little bit. So the answer is C. Now we have C because first of all it will check the type of 5, which is type int, and then it will check the type of the type int. Now type of the type int should be giving you type of type because it's checking the type of the type. It will be a little confusing, but once you get a hang of it, I think you'll understand it. What is the output of the following code? A is equal to 2, then we add A, then we add 2 to A, and then we multiply it with 2, and then we print it. So what according to you all should be the answer? So the answer should be D, which is an indentation error. Now Python takes indentation very seriously. You cannot joke with the indentation. You have to put all of this in one line. And if say you have an if statement or a while statement, then you indent the code below it to a little right, like say 4 spaces to the right, which is the default one. Now this one, which okay, this should be C and D. I am sorry for that. This should be C and D. Which of the following is an invalid if-else statement in Python? Remember the last two are C and D. Those are not A and A. So I'm revealing the answer. It's B. Yeah, so I just now told you the indentation thing. So the print is just below I. So that is an indentation error, because when we declare any code below, if it should have a little space before the code runs. So what is the output of the following code? If 5 greater than 10, print fan. If 8 not equal to 9, print glass, and else print cream. So Chanchal told you about if else statements. So I guess you should be able to answer it. It's pretty simple. So now I'll reveal the answer. Yep, it's C. It prints glass. Glass because first of all it's checking if 5 greater than 10, which is not possible at all. 5 is never greater than 10. Then it goes to the elif statement, which checks if 8 is not equal to 9. And we all know that 8 is not equal to 9. So it prints glass, and then this statement is just ignored because it already executes this statement. Now this. This would be a little too much because we are lacking below. This is a pretty simple one. Suppose you have the following variables defined. A is equal to 15 and B is equal to 50. Now you have to write a Python if-else statement to assign variable M. Since we are lagging time, you can continue this in your free time. I think we can now just solve the doubts and all because we are actually lagging time.
Can I write one of the code because we still have like 2 minutes left. So within that, within 1 hour, can 1 minute, can they write a code?
Yes, they can. They can actually write this one.
Yeah, within
This
1 hour,
is a
they
very.
can write it.
If you all want, I can give
No,
you the
within
answer.
1 minute. 1 minute, not 1 hour. They should come up with a code. I think somebody have a
Yeah.
code there.
Yeah, somebody gives the answer. Go live.
Yep, that's right, Nicole. That's the right answer. Cheers. You got it right. So, yep, our
Nice to
session
see.
ends here. It was great interacting with you all.
Person trying the code. Okay, I think we are now on the end of the event. Rasika, you're done with the questions, Abby. So I think we are at the end of the event. I want to say thank you everyone for making our time to join our section. We are very happy to have you here. We say thank you very much. And we also say thank you to Anna for this great opportunity. It doesn't easily come by actually. We say thank you very much for having us on board, and hopefully to see you maybe on the slide group or any other place. But meanwhile, the slide we are going to share it. We share the link across to Anna or Rasika. Do you have the link to the slide?
Yeah, I did share it on the chat.
Okay, that's the link to the slide. Okay, you can get it, or we also share the link to the slide for those that are not yet that want the slide. We can also give you the link there. So thank you very much. Any other thing to say, Rashika and Chancellor?
Thank you so much, Anjul and
Thank you
Joy.
so
It
much.
was great to be interacting with you all. And
Thank you guys
you all
for
can
joining
always
us. And thank you, Rasika and Joy, for having such a great
I
session.
dropped the link to my social media. You can also follow me up there. I don't know, you guys, people can also drop your
yeah, we did it.
yes. Can follow us on social media. Maybe any questions or any idea or thing that you want us to do with you. We are always open and free to attend to questions and answering section, and also interact with you and do things. Be open to do things together. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. You can join in another section that is open. So this is the end of intro to Python. So on your own time, you can read up, go through the links we share on our chat section. You can check Udemy, Udacity, Coursera, or Plural site. They have cool videos on Python or any other language that you want to venture into. So thank you and have a nice day. And thanks to BSF also for giving us a programming language called Python. So that make it easy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Thank you, everyone.